I'm delighted to be joined by Deputy McGrath as well, and a special welcome to you, the members and family members of Post 24. I mentioned this being a historic chamber. It certainly is a chamber that was erected in 1881. I know for some of you it's not your first time, but Jimmy O'Mara did tell me earlier that it's his first time in the chamber, erected when Alderman Edward Cantwell was Mayor of Clonmel. Indeed, he was Mayor on 6 different occasions, and lots of significant events in this chamber. I want to go back to where I started just to say, be very proud of your contribution in terms of your missions abroad, and that contribution that you made at a particular point in time, at a particular place around the world in terms of peace, but in particular, that community impact as well. So without further ado, I now call on the Deputy Mayor, Councillor John Fitzgerald, to say a few words.
I don't intend to, delay too long on this Friday evening of a bank holiday, but I really do think that as the redevelopment of Kicken Barracks now has taken place, and we hope it comes to a new use in this great town. And Kicken Barracks will be a shining example, but I hope it won't lose its link with the Irish Army, whether that be by way of, museum, naming. This is to come in the future, and it'll be something that I hope there'll be a lot of images that will remind us of the link between the Army and the former barracks. I'm going to conclude, but I just want to say that it was no hardship coming in here tonight. I recognise a lot of you here, and I recognise you from parades and different events that take place in the town, where you very proudly don your green jackets and your berets, and you turn up, and you make a difference. You really do make a difference, and I know we're all singing off the same hymn sheet here. I certainly know from the point of view of being a councillor of a particular party, that the first generals of the Irish Army, and this year we're celebrating the 100th anniversary of the assassination or the killing of General Michael Collins. I think he would have been proud of what the Irish Army became and the way they served, and of all of you here who continue the legacy of the Irish Army in the modern era, and in a special way by keeping the link and keeping your former colleagues and their families supported. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you, Councillor Fitzgerald. I now call on the Lasca here of Tipperary County Council, member of Clonmel Borough District, Councillor Siobhan Ambrose.
Very much. A Vera Colori, agus Slumor Cobalanuk, this morning or Dumsa, Eventualuk, the Smarshin from Angwika from Cura. Mr. Mayor, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, President of IUNVA Post 24, Tony Marshall, and its chairperson, Shawnee Crotty, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to acknowledge as well the wives here tonight as well, and all the families, because oftentimes, when somebody is involved in something, and as we celebrate IUNVA and Post 24, we acknowledge your role in all of this, because many of you, of course, were left at home minding your families while your husband served abroad. So this reception is equally tonight in honour of you, and it's lovely to see you all here tonight. Wonderful to see, Post 24, and when you go up to the railway station, to see that the members are still keeping that tradition alive. And as Councillor Fitzgerald remarked, I had a notice of motion down at this very council looking for a military museum in Kicken Barracks, and we hope that there will be some form of museum in Kicken Barracks. And while acknowledging Post 24 here relates to those who served from Clonmel and Carrick-on-Shore, I also want to acknowledge Jimmy O'Mara and others associate members who are here as well tonight, who served with the FCA, and my own brother did too. But tonight is about you, and tonight we thank you for your service. You are great ambassadors, not just to indeed Clonmel, but to your county and to your country. We're very, very proud of the very strong tradition we have here in Clonmel, and I know several obviously serving members are still in Kilkenny, regrettably, but we're delighted that we still have many serving in Kilkenny. We're delighted with the turnout here tonight. We have been involved, and we're delighted as councillors to be invited and to attend and show our support, whether it's through the marching from the quay up to Mass in St Paul's, or whether the past Easter time up at St Oliver's, and as been said, different participations. We're very happy and proud to don our robes and to join with our fellow men and women to continue those important traditions to us. But tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to go on. I just want to say how wonderful it is to see so many of you here tonight. We're exceptionally proud of you, proud of the service to our wonderful town as Post 24 members of IUNVA. We thank you for that service, and we wish IUNVA Post 24 continued success.
You're here. Thank you, Councillor Ambrose. I now call on Councillor Pat English to address you.
Thank you. Mayor, fellow councillors, Deputy McGrath, Chairman Sean Cosgrave, President Tony Marshall, members and friends of Post 24, I'm delighted to join with you and the Mayor here this evening at this reception for the committee and members of IUNVA Post 24 to honour their outstanding service to the people of Ireland and also the town of Clonmel. Since you formed in 2004, your outstanding work in our community has to be acknowledged this evening. Everyone involved over the years at Post 24 has given a lot to the town of Clonmel, from St Patrick's Day Parade, Colour Party, annual remembrance mass for deceased members, raising funds for local charities, attendance of colour parties at your comrades' funerals, bringing gifts to the children at Christmas time at Tipperary University Hospital, attendance at the annual 1916 commemoration, and lately collecting medical supplies for the people of Ukraine. A big thank you to one and all. Fair play to you. It's a great achievement. I must thank Seamus Cagney. Seamus is one of the founder members of the Soup Kitchen, and he's still volunteering there on a daily basis. And that shows the calibre of the people that you have. And also Ned Lonergan is down there with his wife Angela. Ned has soldiered with me for many of the year, and he's cringing there now. He's the scout leader for over 30 years, and that is a great gift to give to the town of Clonmel. And that's coming from your soldiering over the years. And I'm sure the rest of the members here are similar with the amount of work that you put into the town itself. So I'd like to just thank each and every one of you for that, and to acknowledge the fact that it was one of the saddest days in this town when Kicking Barracks was closed. And you just have to meet all soldiers, and you can see it in their faces that it was a terrible disaster for this town, that those soldiers were marched out of the town. And that should never be forgotten. It was a disaster. Finally, I hope each and every one of you enjoys tonight, and thank the Mayor for hosting tonight, and look forward to meeting you again in the future. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor English. I now call on Councillor Richie Malloy to address you.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor, colleagues, President Tony, Chairman Sean, Deputy McGrath. I too would like to, concur with what all my colleagues have said. It is I suppose we're honoured as well ourselves to be able to pay tribute to the work that you've done, both as members of the Defence Forces and then afterwards when you retired. And I think, as our Deputy Mayor mentioned earlier on, when you retire from the Army, you have your own organisation. When I look around the room, each and every one of you are involved in several other organisations, and indeed I can say this publicly now, but your President is very involved, and his good wife there, Kathleen, in the Carer Support Group. And going back, I suppose, over the years with the Army and Clonmel, you had the Patrick's Day Parade. It was always a very proud day, and I think a lot of people this time did remark that you would miss the presence of the Army tanks, and they generally led the parade here in Clonmel. So there was a lot of people speaking about that. It's great tribute to you that you've kept it going all these years, because it isn't easy to keep voluntary groups going. And the fact that you're associated so much with the railway station above, where lots of the Army went to the Congo and so on, and you'd see the old photographs of trainloads of soldiers taken off, far, far overseas. and you're still linked with it today. So just to say well done, and delighted that the Mayor decided to record this particular reception here tonight, and just wishing you all continued success.
Thank you, Councillor Malloy. I'm delighted that we're joined by Deputy McGrath. Deputy McGrath, would you like to say a few words?
Very much, Mayor Borough and the President of joining us, and Councillor, Sean Tony, and indeed you, the members and spouses and partners as well. Thank you, Gator, she's Mayor, for giving this reception. Couldn't give it to a more deserving organisation. And I too was devastated with the Valley Close. And all the different organisations and all the different, the efforts achieved that, it's lovely to see the front party. Lovely to see how you the pride you have in your Mayoral and indeed in your grill and your grist and everything else. So I want to thank you as well for the service you've given them over the half century or more as peacekeeping in many, many places. But the treadmill comes to mind always, but in many places all over the world. And we as a country have recognised our army out there as a peace force, come and maintain and keep peace. And we have been recognised as that, and that can never be forgotten. And just remarking on, the minutiae of the army in general, how low it's gone, it's slid away from low numbers. And we have a new army now in the country, and I got out by parliamentary question recently, Mayor, by your indulgence, is that we have an army now of these organisations, and there's 36,000 of these now community, not community, NGOs, non-government organisations, costing 5.2 billion annually. And our army floundering for a want of equipment and members and proper wages and proper service. So shocking imbalance is taking place. So you did this power orders at the border and every place else, and you did your self-power and your county's power, your town and your county. And it's wonderful that you okay, I've been in the boat in the centre of the railway station, that you got that corner of the building, that you have a drop-in centre, the soup kitchen and work with there, to go all you meet people one-to-one and support the outlet or support each other at the time of need. So I commend you and salute you, and I wish you a nice, well-earned reception here this evening, and thank you, Mayor, for putting it.
Thank you, Deputy McGrath. It's now my pleasure to introduce, well, he doesn't need any introduction really, but before I do want to thank Shawnee and Bobby in particular in terms of the organisation of tonight's event. Both myself, Shawnee and Bobby were in regular contact, and I got a lot of information via email as well, so I'm very grateful. But now to formally introduce you to the chairperson of IUNVA 24 to say a few words. Shawnee Cosgrove, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mike. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your very kind words. First of all, to say we are delighted to be here is an understatement. We are honoured to be here. Right? And we are very honoured to be here and to be afforded this reception. And we also welcome the sentiments of the elected members of the Borough Council. We do. This reception here tonight is a gesture that is most appreciated by Post 24 and its members. I would like to thank the guests and everybody else for attending here tonight, and I would like to thank the Mayor and the Borough members for having us here tonight. But without the support of our families, we could not carry on. We could not carry on. And on this note too as well, I have many friends overseas in Lebanon especially, and I had to be in constant contact with them. Of course I speak a bit of Arabic as well. But I had many friends over there, and they're very nice people. But they haven't got what we have. I mean, we are the lucky people. Now I would like to hand over to our PRO, Mr. Bobby Cantwell.
You know, it's not always easy for our guys here, you know, to put on the uniform, stand on the side of a rainy, grey sky graveyard. You know, it's easy to just say, you know, I won't bother doing it today. And it's a testament to the guys that turn up when they're called for funerals, to fly the flag, to turn out. This takes commitment. And, you know, sometimes, like, it's difficult. So I'd like everybody that's here, that even sees this, to give themselves a pat on the back, because they deserve it. I would like to see, and I know an awful lot of our comrades would like to see, say, a list of the people who died in service in the barracks. So starting from Tony's dad, Felix Grant, CS, all the way down to Bobby Galvin, who died in 2011. He was the last serving soldier to die in the barracks. So that would be a wish of ours. It's, you know, I'm sure it is doable. It would be a focal point for all veterans in the South Tipperary area. And where else would be more fitting only Kicken Barracks. We do have other aspirations too in relation to the barracks. And we'd hope that among the esteemed representatives here, that they may sort of lend their helping hand to see, you know, could we look at examining any of the possibilities that might exist. Now, we're very much aware that you, the members, have been enthusiastic supporters of the barracks down through the years, and for that we do appreciate that, we really do. We are presenting a list of our proposals to you for your consideration. We would really appreciate it if you did sort of take a look at it and see what you could see out of it. And we are thankful for the recognition that you've shown for our work. Go Mila Mahmoud.
Thank you, Shawnee. Thank you, Bobby. And what I can assure you, Bobby, is on the presentation of any list of proposals to the office of the Mayor, that be assured that we as members collectively of the Borough District will carefully examine those proposals and will work closely with IUNVA 24, and where we can deliver on those proposals, but happy to accept those proposals first of all and discuss them with my colleagues. You know, and Charlie, thank you, Charlie. You know, we talked about, you know, why this mayoral reception, and I talked about your service, I talked about your community work, you know, but it's something that stands out for me is, you know, the exceptional character of former members of the Defence Forces, members of the Defence Forces, members of IUNVA 24, and clearly exceptional character is on evidence here in this chamber tonight. And we saw examples then, you know, I think Councillor English mentioned one or two, involvement in the soup kitchen, Seamus for example, and I was delighted to support the soup kitchen this year from the Mayoral Fund, mention of the Scouts, other activities as well, and in all those activities, in all your participation in those activities, be assured that you continue to endear yourselves to the wider community, and that reflects that exceptional character, and I think it came through in both Shawnee's speech and Bobby's speech, And I suppose who better to epitomise that exceptional character? Richie, you mentioned an example of the president of Under 24. Now, he said at the outset that he wouldn't say a few words, but I convinced him to have the final say. But as I said, an individual that reflects the exceptional character of all and each member of IUNVA 24. Tony, the final word to you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As President of Post 24, I wonder, it's my privilege here to thank Mayor and Councillors for honouring us so this evening. It's great to have what we do, to have it recognised. We like doing it, but it's great to be recognised for doing it. And I want to thank Deputy Marshal McGrath for honouring us here with his presence as well. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
So there's nothing left for me to do, only present the mayoral certificate to Tony. I'd like you to remain seated. If everybody could sign the book. The reason I want you to remain seated is we might do the group photograph, whereas us, the members, we might sit in a row of chairs at the very front and we try and capture everybody in a group photograph. I think it'd be nice to capture that group photograph. So I'll present the mayoral certificate to Tony. Tony, it's my pleasure. And we look at that.
One second.
So Bobby,
He said, keep the smile.